Hi and welcome to ActiveFit Education's first video series. It's a free video series, and how it works is we will release another free video for every 5 new likes that we get on our Facebook page. So hopefully you'll enjoy the series. Please like those videos, share those videos, promote them amongst your friends, because the more likes we get on our Facebook site, the more free information you will get. And this video series is Facts About Fat. We're going to be looking at how to maintain a good body fat percentage and obviously how to lose fat. And we'll be looking at aspects such as the diet, exercise and various other issues, taking into account myths that are within the dietary industry, for example, and also providing you with a range of tips and guidelines as to how you can maintain a healthy weight. So the first video is on cutting calories, and surely cutting calories should actually work. If you reduce the amount of calories you take in, surely that would contribute towards a long-term weight loss, wouldn't it? Well, it's a common recommendation, but unfortunately it's often incorrect, and that is reducing calories causes a debt in energy intake. Now, there is a bit of a problem with that. For example, if we look at the average woman in 1990, she would eat about 200 calories less, but weighed about 6 pounds more than the average woman in 1960. Now, of course, there are a lot of other factors that would actually play a part within this scenario, but what it does actually tell us is that simply cutting calories won't actually always work and result in fat loss. If we actually take a look at these scales here, basically what these scales represent, on the one side we've got energy intake. So this is our food consumption. On the other hand, we've got expenditure. How do we get rid of those calories? How do we expend energy? That would be through our physical activity, our exercise we do, and that obviously raises our metabolism. Metabolism is the rate at which we burn fuels and burn fat. So you would think, just looking at those scales again, that if we were to maintain the same amount of energy expenditure and take in less food, then obviously that should lead to losing weight. Unfortunately, like I say, it isn't that simple. So let's take a look at the fat cell, the dreaded fat cell. Well, the role of fat cells, really there's 2 main roles. One is to store calories when you don't need them for energy. So if you're not burning calories, you don't need them, you're not exercising, what fat cells will do is they will store calories so that they're ready to use when we need them. Obviously, when we do need them, when we exercise, when we need those calories to be used, the fat cells will actually release them, and then they can be used for energy. Now, if we have too much fat within our fat cells, what they actually do is multiply. So if a fat cell reaches its maximum size, it actually multiplies. That makes it very difficult to lose fat. If you've got multiples of fat cells, it makes it harder in the long run to lose fat. So can't I just starve a fat cell then? Is that an option? Can we do that? Well, if we look at enzymes, these are proteins in the body that trigger specific chemical reactions. So we've got loads of different enzymes within our bodies which serve different functions. And there's 2 main enzymes that we're interested in here. One is lipogenic enzymes. Now, these are the enzymes you don't really want because these store fat. The other type of enzyme is lipolytic enzymes, and these actually release fat. So what we want to do is optimize the amount of lipolytic enzymes we've got, releasing fat, and often reduce the amount of lipogenic enzymes we've got because these store fat. However, a reduction in calories, if we're cutting calories, it actually causes an increase in lipogenic enzymes. So we are increasing fat storage. Also, a reduction in lipolytic enzymes. So we're reducing our fat release. How this works, or why this works, is basically the body will think it's starving. If you go on a calorie restricting diet, it thinks it's starving, and therefore it shuts up shop. It starts to panic. So the body hangs on to fat when it's starving, like you would actually hang on to money when you're poor. You don't want to spend that money if you haven't got it, and it's exactly the same with the fat. If it thinks or the fat cells, if they think that they're running low on fat, they will shut up shop and they'll try to store that fat. So if you're not having new calories going into them, then they will basically slow down the metabolism and the fat won't be released. The body protects itself. It thinks it's starving and it protects itself. So ultimately, you can't actually starve a fat cell. In regards to fat cells, we have so many of them that, like I say, you can't really starve them. You certainly can't really starve all of them. Certainly there are eating disorders such as anorexia where the amount of body fat is very low, but generally you won't starve a fat cell. So what about muscle cells then? Well, the more muscle you have, the greater your ability to burn fat. Now, unfortunately, again, reduced calories results in less calories being given to muscle cells, and again, more calories being stored in fat cells. So it takes the calories away from the muscle cells and puts them into the fat cells to protect your body, to store them so that we've got them if we start to run low or if we need them at any stage. So you can actually starve a muscle cell, which isn't good. We want our muscle cells to have those calories. We want to be able to use our muscles. We want to be energized. So I expect some of you are still not convinced, and you've seen this new diet, read it in a magazine, seen it on the internet, and it just sounds great. So try not to be fooled by a typical diet such as the following. So if you read anything like this new diet guarantees fast fat loss of 20 pounds in 4 weeks, it probably should read this new package diet. In other words, it's probably been around for ages and ages. It's just got a new package. It's been marketed slightly differently. It's got a new celebrity role model who's endorsing it. So this new package diet that is extremely restrictive and hard to stick to, because a lot of these calorie restricting ones guarantees fast fat loss of 20 pounds. The majority of which is actually going to be muscle and water loss. If you actually lose weight quite quickly, often that is from muscle and water. Now, earlier on I said that muscle was important for fat burning. If you reduce your muscle, then you are reducing your body's ability to burn fat. You are slowing down its metabolism. The same with water as well. We need our water for various health reasons, and water is good at reducing body fat as well. So if we're using those things, then certainly that's going to result in reduced health and a slower metabolism. So really, for the hard truth now, in the short term, calorie restriction may work. So we need to be aware of that. It's not all bad, and certainly if you've got someone who's really overweight and they are over-consuming calories, then certainly calorie restriction can work. It may be very beneficial to that person. But for a lot of people, it might not be good and often only works in the short term. You might remember this little phrase, fat loss is like a boomerang. And basically, the faster you lose it, the easier it returns. It comes back. So generally, we're looking for something like a pound to 2 pounds of fat loss per week, rather than your 4, 5, 6 pounds a week, generally. Now, it only takes about 72 hours of reduced calorie intake to actually reduce fat burning. So after about 72 hours on that diet, then your body is starting to reduce its fat burning. In the long run, you are actually finding it harder, or going to find it harder, to lose weight, because again, your metabolism is slowing down. If you're female, unfortunately, it's even more bad news, because you will find it harder to lose body fat by restricting calories than males. The probable reason for this is thousands of years ago, when we obviously had to survive harsh winters, maybe without food, it was more important for females to survive that than the males. Why? Because they would be carrying children. As long as males had done their duty in supplying the lady with that child, they could die. The males could die. It's the female, the women that needed to survive. So their body is actually conditioned so that it hangs on to calories where it needs to. So if they are on a calorie restricting diet, they're less likely to lose weight, full stop. And also, again, that is going to have more of a negative impact in the long run in regards to weight loss. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this first video. Like I say, if you want to see more videos, then please like us on Facebook, like this video, promote this video. For every 5 new likes that we get on our Facebook site, we'll release another one. Thanks very much.